Opinion: India's mind games, how information warfare shook up a stressed Pakistan. Modern conflict extends far beyond the battlefield. As Prime Minister Narendra Modi thunderously announced that we have entered a new normal where a jaw-breaking response will be given if India is attacked by Pakistan, and stated that India will only talk about terror and the return of Pakistan-occupied Kashmir, the information domain proved critical. Operation Sindoor saw an intense information war parallel to military and non-military actions, where both nations sought to control the narrative. While Pakistan initiated a significant propaganda push after India hit terror camps across Pak and Pakistan, evidence suggests India employed a more systematic approach, combining defensive fact-checking with proactive information-shaping strategies to influence perceptions both domestically and internationally, and potentially within Pakistan itself. Nanan: following India's launch of Operation Sindoor on May 7, Pakistan quickly initiated a concerted propaganda campaign. The aim was to spread false information, mislead the global community, and attempt to regain control of the narrative. This effort flooded digital platforms with various fabricated claims and recycled media. Key elements of Pakistan's information offensive included presenting old photos and videos as recent, combat-related content. They circulated widely false claims about Indian losses, alleging downed jets, specifically naming Rifles and Su-30 and captured soldiers. Pakistan also claimed significant damage to critical Indian military infrastructure, including assertions that their forces had destroyed India's S-400 missile system and a BrahMos missile storage site. Further fabrications involved claims of damage to Indian air bases like Jammu, Pathankot, Bathinda, Nalia, Bajaj, Sirsa, and Suratgarh, and even damage to ammunition dumps in Chandigarh and Beas. Beyond military targets, Pakistan accused India of deliberately targeting civilian areas, claiming a 15-year-old girl died and others were injured when a school zone was hit, and falsely alleging attacks on religious sites, specifically naming mosques in Bahawalpur and Muridka, and Gurdwara at Nankana Sahib. Notably, high-ranking Pakistani officials, including ministers, were reported to have promoted this unverified and doctored content, attempting to frame India as a violator of international norms and human rights. Pakistan even went so far as to claim India was attacking its cities Amritsar to blame Islamabad, a claim which was rightly labeled by India a deranged fantasy. Nanan: in response to Pakistan's extensive propaganda, India deployed a robust defensive counter-information strategy rooted in transparency and accountability. Dedicated teams debunked viral claims, utilizing visual evidence and source tracing to clarify the origins of misleading videos and confirm the real dates and contexts of recycled images. India's counter-narrative efforts included publicly refuting false claims with verifiable data. Coordinated press briefings became a key tool, with officials providing accurate updates on Operation Sindoor and countering Pakistani falsehoods. For instance, claims of damaged S-400 systems, BrahMos sites, and air bases were categorically denied, with evidence presented to show key installations remained intact and operational. Indian defense sources also actively dismissed Pakistani claims of retaliatory strikes into Indian territory, asserting that their air defense systems, including the S-400, had thwarted any such attempts. This consistent provision of accurate information through verified digital channels aimed to prevent narrative vacuums and build resilience against disinformation. The efforts also contributed to an increased awareness and skepticism among the Indian public regarding viral content. Nanan: beyond just defending against Pakistan's disinformation, India appeared to engage in a more proactive information strategy, incorporating psychological operations and information dominance to shape the strategic environment. News 18 explicitly notes India leveraging strategic policy decisions, information dominance, and psychological operations to isolate Pakistan economically and diplomatically. By this time Pakistan was being tormented as the setting of the narrative continued on platforms which was accessible to the Pakistani Qawm. Fear, dread, and psychological terror were injected, unnerving their military and populace. India's military actions were framed strategically to contribute to this information dominance. Precision strikes on designated terror targets were highlighted to demonstrate capability and resolve, contrasting with Pakistan's alleged indiscriminate actions. Crucially, India's counter-propaganda campaign actively exposed systemic flaws in Pakistan's military infrastructure, revealing weaknesses behind Pakistan's attempts to project strength. The documented failures of Chinese-built HQ-9 batteries, PL-15 missiles, and command and control centers during Operation Sindoor were highlighted to show Pakistan's military operating more like a corporate buyer than an effective warfighting machine. This strategic exposure not only countered disinformation but also reframed the narrative around Pakistan's reliance on untested imports and outdated tactics. Furthermore, India integrated non-military actions into this broader strategy. Swipe left for next video. Suspending the Indus Waters Treaty and halting bilateral trade were described as decisive moves, imposing significant economic costs, framed to send a clear message that water and blood cannot flow together. These actions, alongside cancelling visas and banning cultural exchange, were presented as steps that deepened Pakistan's isolation and reaffirmed India's zero-tolerance stance, contributing to the desired strategic and psychological pressure. In conclusion, the conflict surrounding Operation Sindoor underscored the critical role of information warfare in contemporary conflicts. Pakistan launched a broad campaign of fabrications, but India countered with 1,000 cuts. This more assertive approach to information dominance signals a notable evolution in India's strategic response, setting a new normal where controlling the narrative and influencing perceptions are integral components of national security. Latest blogs.